My favorite part about weddings. I would say my favorite thing about a wedding is first and foremost the relationships. The first relationship that comes to mind is the one between the bride and her father. And, you know, a lot of times I'm up in the room with the bride photographing the getting readies, you know, as she's getting ready. And her father will come up to get her. You know, she's walking down, or to walk her down the aisle and give her away. And the emotion is, you know, it's funny because sometimes it's the bride and she's nervous and her dad comes in and calms her down. And sometimes it's the dad and he's nervous and the bride calms him down. And, you know, sometimes they are just so overcome with emotion that they embrace and hug, and it's a beautiful moment, and it's probably my favorite. My second favorite part about weddings is the vows. I absolutely love the vows. And, you know, the music has played and the people have stood and the brides walk down the aisle, and you know, and the whole room becomes quiet, and the bride and groom say their vows to each other. And it's funny when in a church, and we've mimicked that even in outdoor weddings. But as you walk down the aisle, you know, you're not really allowed to talk or kiss or hug your new, you know, soon-to-be spouse. You guys are kind of left with looking each other in the eyes, and sometimes it's the very first time that you've seen each other on the wedding day. And you're looking each other in the eyes, and there's so much communication, so much you want to say, kind of, you know, but suppressed a little bit by the ceremony. And but that makes for these magical moments of, you know, bride and groom looking each other in the eyes. And honestly, by the time the vows are over and it's the couple's first kiss as a married couple, I have maybe seen a tear or two myself. A few years ago, I was sitting down with a bride named Alicia, and we were sitting in my studio chatting about her wedding, and she was signing up to do the coverage. And as we were chatting, she said, as a little child, I used to play wedding. And what I would do is I would gather my stuffed animals and set them on, you know, create aisles with them, and I would have a ribbon bouquet that my mom would make me, and I would carry it and walk down the aisle. And it was my moment. And so I thought about it later, and thought, how in the world can I bring that moment back to Alicia? Because I know how nervous and you know, just you know, and you're anticipating this wedding. There's a lot of people there, and you just become so nervous as right before you walk down the aisle. A lot of my couples say it's a blur. So I thought, how can I capture this moment, create this moment, or recreate this moment for Alicia? So what I did is, as she and her dad were in the back, and as the music started to play, the guests stood and they turned and looked back down the aisle, and the doors swung open. I believe this was an outdoor wedding. It was a big gate, and it swung open. And as it swung open, I simply took a photograph of the left-hand side of the aisle and a photograph of the right-hand side of the aisle. And then I went on about my day. Well, when Alicia came back, when we designed the album, what we did is we created a two-page spread. And so on one side, you had the photograph of the left-hand side of the aisle, on the other side, a photograph of the right-hand side of the aisle. And when Alicia opened that book, she was looking at her wedding album for the very first time, and it came to that page. As the page turned, she gasped. She literally went, like that. She felt that moment. And I love the idea of creating things that will bring a simple moment from your wedding back to you for the rest of your life, and that same impact. And that's what I love to do.